back. Welcome, evil ones and evil wannabes, to this week's Villain School. How to be a Villain 101.
Now, last week we talked about greed.
We hope that you got as much as you could this week.
And remember, when you thought you had enough, there's still more.
Always get more.
The week before, we talked about peer pressure and getting all your minions, and hopefully you found one smarter than mine, to come and do your bidding for you. And this week now, this is
one of our favorite things, cause trouble. Ooh, I loved it when I caused trouble for that silly Snow White.
Oh, I just feel like trouble is our favorite word.
It is, and it follows us so well. Like,
we are good at it.
That's what we're known for, is trouble and causing trouble. It's fun. It really is fun. You should try it. We suggest it. Anyways, this week, when we look at our counterparts, we are going to look at that big, ghastly man.
Oh, Gaston.
Otherwise known as Gaston. He is
No one. He even sings about it. It's so good.
It is. And he's
so good at
actually
trouble.
kind of cute, you know, in a evil sort of way. Anyways, we see that Gaston did not want to just let Belle's answer of no, will you marry me, stand. So he did everything in his power to cause trouble. He even gathered the townspeople to try and commit her dad for being crazy, just so that he could look like the hero and save her dad. But that's not it. That's not the only trouble that he caused. At the end, he even gathers those same townspeople to storm the castle for a big fight, as if they were actually going to win against a magical castle. Like, come on. He wasn't so smart there, but I'll give him credit for trying.
But what I like about Gaston is that not only did he cause trouble once, he did it twice.
And like we learned last week, more is better.
Next, we look at our dear friend Scar from The Lion King. Now,
Say it again.
Scar. Oh, Scar. Now, Scar, he would have made a lovely coat.
Ooh.
But he is a friend of ours.
Floor.
Actually, Mufasa would have made the better coat. He was much more
very
handsome. And Scar felt the same way. Scar did not like that his brother was king, and he very much did not want Simba to become king either.
Squash that little lion cub.
Exactly. And so Scar caused a lot of trouble, taking them out to the elephant graveyards, causing death, running them away from the kingdom. And then again, because once again, more is better, it wasn't bad enough to cause trouble for the kingdom and killing the king.
I love this part.
I know. Not only did he cause trouble for them, but he caused even more trouble destroying the kingdom completely.
That was gone. It looked so bad, so bad.
Only the hyenas were happy he caused so much trouble.
Oh, man. And then we get to that silly butler, Edgar.
What was he thinking?
I know, what was he thinking? Here he had been a butler all his life in the same household for this sweet, kind old lady. And in the end, he thought, hey, I've been a good servant to her and a good butler. I'm going to get everything when she finally passes. And guess what? She left it to her cats.
Maybe she's the evil one.
Maybe. But then Edgar wasn't happy with that because he wanted all the things, because he had done such a good job his whole life, and now he's going to get squat? So he gets rid of the cats. He makes sure there's lots of trouble caused. He was not happy until he ended up with the fortune in the end. Silly Edgar.
So now our evil wannabes, remember, do not settle for good.
No.
Stir that pot. Cause some trouble.
Do not just walk into a room.
No.
Make sure everybody knows you're in the room. Make sure you cause as much trouble as you possibly can this week, and we look forward to hearing all about it next time. Causing trouble, huh? Wow.
I don't think our villains need any sort of school on causing trouble.
I don't think we need any sort of school on this one. I think every day I'm like, how can I get out of trouble because we caused trouble or drawn attention to ourselves, or
I mean, they're just like encouraging us to stir the pot, and we don't need any help there.
Well, and I think it's easy for us to point out in others like how they cause trouble, and we should really, like that whole like Bible verse about taking the plank out of your own eye before you
Yeah, there's a lot. And we can even see it still, again, within our Bible people that we've been looking at these past couple of weeks. And so we've looked at the mob, and then we looked
peer
at
pressure.
Judas, and now this week we are looking at Caiaphas, who is the high priest, and the ways that he caused trouble without even totally recognizing that he caused trouble, because again, we do it subconsciously.
Well, there's a lot to it. I mean, causing trouble, drawing attention to yourself, just making something so that it's not as smooth of a event that it can be.
So today's story comes from Matthew chapter 27, way towards the end of 26, way towards the end, verse 57. So those that arrested Jesus took him to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the teachers of the law and the elders had assembled. The chief priest and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for false evidence against Jesus so that they could put him to death, but they could not find any, even though many false witnesses came forward. So then it goes down later that says, the high priest said to him, I charge you under oath by the living God. Tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God. Yes, it is as you say, Jesus replied. But I say to all of you, in the future, you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. Then Caiaphas tore his clothes and said, He has spoken blasphemy. Why do we need any more witnesses? Look, now you have heard the blasphemy. What would you think? And they answered, He is worthy of death.
So what did these guys originally think that they were going to find like Jesus guilty of? I mean, I know that it, they brought him before these guys, but
they were good at causing trouble. They didn't have anything that they could pin on Jesus, and they are just fishing. They are trying to make a scene. They're making a very big deal out of this. I mean, it talks here about how Caiaphas tore his clothes. That was something that they were not supposed to do. And so in addition to trying to find false witnesses, they're also causing a scene. They're trying to make this a much bigger thing than it needs to be. And so anytime that they had the opportunity to, they were going to cause trouble, and they were going to take the focus off of Jesus and put it back on themselves.
Well, yeah, because they're all sitting around together, the elders and the chief priests and everybody else going, let's get this. I mean, false witnesses. They had seen what Jesus was doing. I mean, what did they honestly, in their right mind, think that they were? Clearly they were not in their right mind, as we saw with our guys before, drawing attention to themselves. Woe is me, and I better get the answer that I want, because without it I'm nobody, or I'm just going to continue until I do get the answer that I want.
And we can see this in our own lives when we close ourselves off to hearing the truth, or when we don't want to sit down and learn. We kind of just like ram ourselves through, and we cause trouble because we're not stopping to listen. We're not stopping to learn. We're not stopping to hear the truth, which is sometimes very necessary for us to do.
Well, and I think what gets us into trouble a lot of the time is our own self, but our selfishness. Like, these guys were bound and determined, which they didn't want Jesus around anyways, but they were bound and determined to get Jesus to, commit himself to say, yeah, I'm crazy, whatever. But I mean, if we don't like an answer, how do we keep trying to cause trouble until we get our way or the answers that we want? So just like our characters today and our villains told you to cause lots and lots of trouble, we are going to strongly encourage you to do the opposite. Instead of causing trouble, create peace.
Yeah, and the only way that we can truly understand how that all works is to be in God's Word, reading what it is that He has, because through Him we learn the truth. And when we learn the truth, then we are able to put that out into the rest of the world.
So this week's homework assignment, create peace, not cause trouble. And we will see you back here next week.